Christmas and holiday cards can be so easy to make when you combine pretty designer papers and dies. My Christmas cards are almost done and they were so easy to make, and I love how they turned out. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik, and I admit I do not use my designer paper nearly enough when I make cards, but I couldn't resist this gorgeous designer paper pad from Crafter's Companion, and being a die cut addict, I had some new holiday dies too, so I combined them for some fun, easy holiday cards I'm sharing in this video. More details on each of the cards will be on my blog, and of course links are in the description box. So this is the first card I made with this designer paper and several new dies, and again, you know, all the details will be on my blog, but it's so easy to just put some designer paper behind and even a little bit in the inside with some neat dies. And this is the paper pad that I couldn't resist. It's from Crafter's Companion, the Sarah Davies Enchanted Christmas collection, and I'll just try to show you some of them. They're just beautiful and very unique, and I used many of them in these cards that I'm going to share today. This is a new die that I got, and it is by Marianne Design Creatives, and it's called Anja's Folding Circle. And look at these cards that I made, again with that beautiful designer paper, and it cuts out the folding circle there, and then when you open it up, if you just add some more designer paper and some of the inside dies that are part of it, you have a gorgeous, easy card that's very unique. And this is another one I did. This time I cut the big snowflake out and put it on a center large circle, and then when you open it up, there's more of that beautiful designer paper and the dies from this set on that. I recently saw a double rolled frame card on Ann Temple's blog, and she was kind enough to share a tutorial on how to make it. There's a link to that tutorial in the description box too. So if you have two-sided designer paper, it's so easy to make these unique cards. Both of the inside sentiments on these two samples that I'm showing here are from Sue Wilson's collection of mini expressions dies at Creative Expressions, and they have become my favorite sentiment dies to use. I love the mix of the fonts, and the size is just perfect for any card. So this one says thinking of you at Christmas, and I use some pretty two-sided designer paper to roll that. I'm going to show you how to do that. And this one is Christmas Wishes with another two-sided designer paper, and on the inside, my Christmas wishes for you, peace, love, and joy. But what if you don't have two-sided designer paper? And I often don't, or I don't like the color combinations. You know, one I like, but I don't necessarily like the other. Well, Anne shared another brilliant tip, and I honestly had never thought about it. So if you have one-sided paper, see, this is just one-sided, and so is this. If you take your color copier and you put one in there, and then you copy the other one on the back, you're going to get something like this. There's your paper, and it's two-sided now. And I thought, well, now that's brilliant. You know, so that's what I've done for the card that I'm going to create for you today. You're going to cut two pieces of the double-sided now pattern paper the same size for the front of your card. Now I've cut mine to 4 by 5 1/4 because I wanted a border around the edge like I did on these. So I wanted there to be a border, so I cut the card base is the typical A2 size, and then the this piece here is 4 by 5 1/4. And then using skinny tape, you're going to tape them together. You just want tape on just on the outside. So I've put some of my score tape along the inside, and you're going to take the two sides that are identical and put them together. So I have the green and the green, And I know I wanted to use this to put this together because it's much easier. So if you use a corner of a score buddy or score pal or something like that, and then you push this right into the corner, your lining that up is going to be much easier. And you might need to trim it just a little bit. I can see that I do at the bottom there, but it's very, very close when I do it that way. Whereas if I just try to line it up and eyeball it, it is often not going to work. And so those are glued together now. And then I've also put the skinny tape on the back, and that way I know that when I'm ready to attach it, even though it's been rolled, it'll be much easier. So I have a cutting board here, and a note to myself, I'm going to cut from 1 inches to 5.5 from corner to corner. So you want about an inch that is not cut, and you're going to cut in a diagonal. And so I am going to cut from 1 to 5.5. And you're cutting through 2 pieces, but this paper isn't real thick, so that's not hard to do. And then you're going to cut this way from 1 to 5.5. And so now you have the those like that. And then you're going to take a stick of some kind or a pen. I like using a shish kebab stick. So I have a whole big bag of these in my craft room. Never have made a shish kebab, but I use them in my crafting. And you're going to roll the paper around the stick. Now you can use a pen or any other round object that you might have, but I like the tighter roll you get with the shish kebab stick. And you can start doing it and then pull it out if you're having any difficulty, and just start again. And you want to roll until you get to the corner there without tearing it, but you do want to go the whole way. And I was going to get I have some glue dots here and a knife, which I had ready to go. Let me find that. I had set it aside and didn't want to put you on hold while I looked for it. So the paper is rolling around the shish kebab stick, and then you're going to remove the stick, and you don't have to, but I do take a glue dot and sneak it under there to hold that down. So now if you're using thicker cardstock, this is pretty thin, so I don't need it. But if you're using thicker two-sided cardstock to do this, then you might want to spritz each one of these before you roll them. And that makes it move and a little bit easier. Should have got this ready before I rolled. That's okay. Sticking that glue dot underneath there just to hold it down. Oh, I can see I still have my glue dot there. So I didn't get it underneath. Let's try that again. Got to get the glue dot ready. Start rolling. When you get all the way to the corner without ripping it, sneak a glue dot under. And we're getting our first. Now, years ago, I remember making some cards with just the single rolled frame, and that's pretty too. But when I saw the cards with the double contrasting colored frames, I thought that, now that is really cool and something kind of unique and different, which is what I love to do for my cards. So there's the single frame, and then we're going to take the second one and repeat. Get a glue dot ready. Now sometimes if it doesn't want to go all the way to the edge, then I started it, I'll do it again, and the second time it's going to roll real easy. And we're getting that right up to that next one, and then sneaking a glue dot underneath. And now we have the contrasting colors. Isn't that pretty? I just think it's a really fun idea. And I had fun designing some cards with it. Well, I can't. And then I do the longer pieces. And one more. So we have the contrasting colors of the designer paper rolled to make a pretty frame. Now on the first cards that I showed you, I just had the card base color underneath, but I decided to put another piece of the designer paper in here, and that way we have the three layers of that pretty designer paper. So I've put some score tape, skinny score tape, on the edge of the back as well. And I'm putting this on a white card base with a little bit of a border. And then I'm going to glue my Joy Wish down. This joy is my favorite joy, and joy is my favorite Christmas word, holiday word, anytime word, and it is from Quietfire Designs by Suzanne Cannon. Come on. So we have our double rolled frame with two-sided paper, wishing you joy from our home to yours. And I cut that out of the designer paper as well, and that's a Tonic Studios die. So you could add some gems if you wish, as I've done on the other cards, but I didn't think it was necessary on this one, and I love how these cards turned out. Isn't that a fun idea to try for your holiday or any day cards? Thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing, and thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.